Hello everyone, here we are at the Civitas Solis Institute with one of the authors of the book titled Western Gnosis. She wrote an article titled In Search of the Cathars. Her name is Beatriz Del Picchia. And Beatriz, let me start asking you who the Cathars were and what we can know about them.
The very name Cathar was given to a group of Christian Gnostics who emerged in the 12th century across Europe, mainly in southwestern France. They, however, called themselves Christians or true Christians. And why is that? Because they sought to live a pure and grassroots Christianity, directly practicing the morals found in the scriptures. So, for example, they tried not to lie because the Gospel of John says, "The devil is a liar and the father of lies." Even when they were interrogated by the Inquisition, many preferred to tell the truth, which cost them their lives. And their rituals were few and very simple, such as the laying on of hands, the blessing of bread. These were practiced in the homes of the faithful. This is because what they valued most was the soul and not matter. So what is the material world? It's all about wealth, social position, social class, gender, the body. Thus they allowed people of all classes to rise to leadership positions. Women could join the ranks of the Cathar clergy, for example. Such attitudes were quite a scandal in the 12th century. And we still have some issues with it today, don't we? I'll give you an example. At a colloquium, a woman, Esclamande de foi, defended the Cathar cause. This prompted a protest from representatives of the Roman clergy who turned to her and said, "Go, madam, to spin your staff. It is not your business to speak in a meeting of this type." And yet with all this, Catharism penetrated the entire society, from the noblest to the humblest, and disturbed the powers of the time. They launched the Crusades and the Inquisition against them. They ended up physically eliminating everyone in 200 years, and also most of their writings. So today, in order to do research on the Cathars, we have to resort to documents from the Inquisition itself. And we do not have a closed doctrinal body. This prompts some controversy. In any case, the Cathar legacy is significant and still echoes in the 21st century.
And Beatriz, you were talking about a woman. She was part of the Cathar nobility of her time, it seems, and faced some criticism from the ecclesiastical authorities of her time, right? Does Catharism have any importance today? Can its voice still be heard nowadays? What could you say to us in this regard?
I've named my article In Search of the Cathars precisely because there are a lot of people searching for the Cathars nowadays, including myself, for I've been researching them independently for many years. It turns out that after they were eliminated, interest in them continued for centuries. First, they appeared in disguised form, in folk tales and legends. Later on, this interest became more explicit. They even influenced other initiatives and movements, and all of this grew a lot in the 19th century and even more so in the 20th century. This legend says that upon seeing the Cathars being burned at the stake, a troubadour prophesied thusly, "In 700 years the laurel will become green again." In fact, this phrase appears in a 19th century French poem. But legend or not, the fact is that in 2021 it was 700 years since the last known French Cathar was burned. at the stake, and today, if you visit certain cities in southwestern France or type the name Cathars into Google, you'll be flooded with a lot of material about them, both consistent and absurd stuff. Of course, medieval Catharism is dead, but something about it continues to resonate with us today. One thing that draws attention about them is that they considered the world to be a place of suffering, but at the same time, it was for them a place of learning and work, a place where one could ascend to higher levels of consciousness and therefore of coexistence. Also, thus they prefigured certain attitudes, the Cathar clergy especially. The Cathar clergy preached renouncing this world, and yet they worked to improve the world. They were healers, teachers, and in fact prefigured certain attitudes that are more accepted in our society today than they were in medieval society. Those can become green again with more soil than was the case 700 years ago. Now, regardless of all these earthly issues, when we begin to get to know the Cathars and their testimonies, we begin to realize, we begin to perceive they had a simple, integral, and lived spirituality, which perhaps we miss today and attracts us so much.